Today, I want to talk about some features that I see rarely used in SQL Server Management Studio, and they're the dashboard reports. So these are some very useful built-in reports, and they're really good for getting acquainted to a new database server. And they have two levels. There's one at the instance level, and then there's another one at the database level. So this is how you navigate. So for the instance level reports, you would just go into Management Studio. I've kind of blown this up. It's a little distorted, but we're going to go in a minute and actually look at it live. But here's my database instance. And then I right click on that and then I navigate to the reports. And then there's standard reports. And as you can see here, there's probably, I don't know, 15 or 20 different reports. Performance dashboard, server dashboard, configuration changes, scheduler health, memory consumption, several activity reports, several top transactions, several performance-related reports, and then service broker statistics and transaction log shipping status. So those are your instance level reports. And then at the database level, you would go to the particular database you want to do some analysis on, right-click on that. Again, go to the reports, standard reports, and here's all the reports that are available at the database level. So you've got various disk usage reports, backup and restore events, transactional, top transactions, database consistency history, index usage, schema changes, and user statistics. All right, let's take a look at some now. So again, these at the instance level, we're going to go to our Management Studio. And again, these are just right out of the box. No special install here for all you need is your Management Studio install. So I right click on the instance, I go to reports, I go to standard reports, and let's take a look at the performance dashboard. Takes a second to generate. We've got some recent history of CPU utilization. We've got some activity information at the user and session level. And there's even some drill down. So these are actually links, and I can drill down into, let's say, IO statistics. And this will give me a nice report by database, percent reads, percent writes. Very useful information when you're doing analysis on a database. And you can expand these and get additional information. So now I'm going to try another report, the server dashboard. And here we got some information about the instance, when it started, what product version we're running, what edition, and some other various information about CPU and logical I/O. Again, great high-level information. We'll try another report. I like the performance top queries by total I/O. And here it gives you a breakdown of total logical I/O versus average logical I/O. So total I/O, if you've got, let's say we've got a statement that's running very frequently, but it may not individually, each execution may not be very expensive, but if there's a million of them running, it might add up and it might be your top total logical I/O. Versus average, you might have a statement that only runs very infrequently, maybe even just once a day or something like that, but it might be very expensive. So you might have two different statements that are the top here, but that's not the case here for me. And you can expand these. So if you expand the text, you get some additional information here in this table. It'll tell you how many times it was executed, the average I/O per execution, and then the total number of logical reads and writes. And you'll get, I think this is the top 10 report. So you get your top 10 statements or so. And we'll run one more. So we go to reports, standard reports, and let's take a look at memory consumption. This tells us the various segments of memory in SQL Server and how they're allocated. Your page life expectancy, so that is how long that pages are retained in memory, how many seconds. So if you have a large cache, you want this to be a big number. In this case, it's only about a minute. But again, this is a workstation laptop database, and not a lot of memory has been allocated for SQL Server. So that's your instance level reports. right, let's look at some database level reports. So I'm going to right click on a database here, go to the reports, standard reports, and let's look at disk usage by top tables. I'll blow this up just a little bit. So what we've got here is a report that tells us the top tables. We got the table name, number of records, the reserve, which is the total size, and then we've got size related to data and size related to indexes, and then unused space. And you can actually resort these things. These are all active columns. I could reorder things. So again, a lot of great information, not much effort to get to it. And that's what you want when you're trying to do analysis. Let's try a couple more. Standard reports. And let's look at index physical stats. And now we've got the various tables, their indexes, some information about them. You can drill down in some cases and get additional information about partitioning. So here's the human resources employee table. Here's all of its indexes, and it tells you like the depth of the index. So if you know anything about index structures, how deep does it go? You know, how deep does that tree structure go? And you can expand again. And it'll tell you fragmentation information, lots of good information. Let's try one more. Go to reports and let's try backup and restore events. And again, this is for this database, the AdventureWorks 2019. So we can get the average time taken for backup operations. So this is a small database, so very short duration, 0.1 minutes. Here's our restore, again, 0.1 minutes. And some information about the restore. So there you go. That is some examples of database level reports in SQL Server Management Studio. That's it for today's video. I hope you learned something. As I said, I haven't seen a lot of use of these reports out in the field. I've gone to several clients and I don't think that they've ever pulled it up. I pull it up and they look at me like they'd never seen it before. So I think it's one of those gems that comes with the product that is very underutilized. So again, thanks for watching. Please like if you like the video, consider subscribing. If you have questions about these Management Studio reports or anything else, please send them along. Have a good weekend, guys.